So we're going to go ahead and get started. If everyone can take their seats. I want to introduce Rashida bin Haveliwala. Her introduction was given before, but she's going to go ahead and get started.
Okay. Hello, Kim Cho Sagla. I am going to do the next portion of the parent curriculum project that we were working on. And again, this is the pilot curriculum. So we are in our infancy stage. We're going to work on continually refining this curriculum and through the pilot program, and then it'll be like a cycle. We'll continue moving forward and continue moving it. So let's show you what and how we're going to be doing that. Yes. Am I not on the mic? Sorry. Okay, thank you. Okay, so basically, like a teacher, we like to do the five W's in the how. So who we're going to work, our goal is that we're going to try to work with At-Talim and have a pilot study done with the Daraja Khamisa parents. And our intention is to basically conduct this annually on Saturdays while in madrasa. So while your children are in madrasa, we would have the parents come in for a 2 to 3 hour session with expert moderators and do small intimate groups and basically launch these modules. So how are we differentiating this? We're making sure that we are larger madrasas, we have smaller groups of parents together, we have, and our larger, our smaller madrasas, we're gonna group them together so we have enough parents to be able to actually have a nice, robust conversation. Selected parents would be invited. So if whomever in this pilot study basically says, yes, we'd like to join you, they will be selected and put into a program, put into one of the groups. So if we go into a larger madrasa, they'll have a larger, we'll have several groups, and if we're a smaller madrasa, then we'll try to group 2 madrasas together and get a larger parent group. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is actually a simulation. We're going to step into the shoes and actually experience one of the modules and a lesson within that module. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. Back in, when you're in school, you do this thing called 4 corners. And so I'm going to ask, because we just all have eaten, so we're probably all still digesting our food. And so I'm going to get our blood flowing, and so we all need to stand, and we need to participate. This participation is a non-optional thing. We all need to participate, okay? And the best way that we can learn, and I tell my students this all the time, if you live it, you learn it. So you have to live it. And in order to live it, you have to then engage, right? So we are going to have you engage in this simulation. It's a small module where we're going to have you select and choose based on your opinion, okay? Now remember, this is a simulation. You're going to put your parent hat on and take your doctor hat off. And you're going to listen to this scenario, if you will. What if you had a son, if you don't have a son and you were a son, then, imagine. Your son has come to you to tell you that his coach wants him to play baseball at the competitive level. But the dilemma is that all of these baseball games are all on Saturdays. So now I'm going to, before I start and tell you what the options are and what your knee-jerk reaction is going to be, remember that this is your knee-jerk reaction. This is what would you have said very instinctively the second you heard this coming out of your child's mouth. So this is not about what you hope you would have said. This is what you did say or will say. Okay, so the directions on the wall around you, you see 4 letters. There's A over here, and please don't judge the order. A is in the back over here, B is over here in the front, C is in the back over there, and D is on the side up here. Okay, so you're going to take a few minutes to think about how you would react to this dilemma. Okay. I'm going to give you 4 choices, and based on those 4 choices, you're going to go to that corner, and you're going to stand in that area and wait for further instructions, because I'm not going to tell you what happens next. You have 2 minutes to decide, people. Are you ready? I'm going to give you your choices. All right, I'm gonna do what I do in my classroom. Thumbs up if you're ready. Thumbs up if you're ready and you're ready to engage. Come on, let's wake up, people. All right, thank you. All right, so your 4 choices from the following responses. Yes, what? Oh, choose your responses, okay? How would you react? Dikra, there is no choice. We cannot miss madrasa. It comes first. That's option A. Option B, Dikra, madrasa is the priority, but I recognize that baseball is important to you. Let's talk about this. Option C, Dikra, we are gonna make this work. We will ask the muallim to make accommodations so you can play. Okay. Option D, Dikra, do whatever you like. You choose madrasa or basketball or baseball. It's your choice. Both options are fine. Okay? So you have 2 minutes to decide. Your time, you need to choose. Go. Okay. That was very shallow. Yes, of course, of course. I should have put the drum rolls on. Okay, it looks like people have made their decisions. Oh, Amir Sab's on the phone. I cannot force him to be off the phone, though. So we will. Okay, so 4 choices. You have made your 4 choices. Your next set of direction is that we're going to dive deep into this conversation. On the paper that's around you in the group, should it be on the pillar, on the wall, on the tables? It's going to be there. You will discuss in your group and write the rationale for why your group has chose this answer. You're going to be given approximately 4 minutes. You will hear the sound, the drum roll sound when your time is up. Okay? What's that?
Rashida, then go back to the choices.
I will go back to the choices right now. Okay? So, if you are okay, guys, I am going to say 4 minutes, okay? Rationale. You're writing your rationale as to why you chose the decision that you made. Yep. Okay, guys, we have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Hopefully we have put something on paper. You guys, the markers are in the basket. Okay, you guys, can I have your attention, please? 4 minutes are up. Can I have your attention, please? Okay. So, the next thing that we are going to be doing is, I don't know, how much time do we have? Do we have time? Okay. The next thing we're gonna be doing is a gallery walk. Okay, so in this gallery walk, what's gonna happen is there are Post-its in your basket, in your bin, okay? You can grab a few Post-its, maybe 3. Let's grab 3. And you're gonna take a minute and you're gonna go walking to the other side of the room where your letter is. So if everyone just kind of does a big circle, okay? So I'm gonna say go, and then each group is gonna move to that direction. Let's just not assume. That direction, okay? So B will go to A will go to C will go to D will come to A, or B. Is that cool? Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, are you ready? Move. That way. B will go to A will go to C will go to D will come to B. I said this. Okay, and on this side, now you're gonna read everyone's comments, and every time you wanna make a comment or you wanna react, you're gonna put your comment on your Post-it and stick it on the poster board. You're going to write a comment, like your reaction to what the comments were in the rationale. And then post it on the board. Sure, I'm gonna put the answers back up here so everyone can see what the actual reaction was. We should. Okay, if there are at least 3 Post-its on your paper and you have made your reaction, we need to rotate. Okay, so A goes to C goes to D goes to B.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're ready.
Yes. Don't be me.
If you are currently in C, you are moving to D. Same instructions. You are
Yes.
reading what is written on there and writing your comments on the Post-it.
Yes, same instructions. Thank you. Okay, another 10 seconds. When you hear the noise, if you can hear the noise above your noise, then we can do this, yes? One more. Okay, time is up. If you have not yet finished writing out your response, put it on the paper, and then move to the next section. Okay. Excellent, excellent, I'm glad. I had music going with this, but I decided not to. Keep it. Okay. Hey man, this is what I do in the classroom. Are you ready? Okay, time is up. Please return back to the original letter you selected. If you could take us a couple seconds, go back to the original letter you selected. Go back to the original letter you selected. At this time, if you guys could go back to the letter that you selected. Excellent. I got the blood flowing? Excellent. Okay, if I can have your attention, please. I need all groups to select one spokesperson who's going to take a few minutes, read over the Post-its. Can I have your attention, please? Please, can I have your attention? You're like worse than my... Come on, students. Let's go, guys. Listen up. And I need your attention back in 5. Can I have... If you can hear me, please put your thumb up. If you can hear me, please put your thumb up. If you can hear me, please put your thumb up and eyes up here. Wherever you selected originally, whatever was your original selection, go back to that section. Okay? If you have, once you're in your original group, read the Post-it reactions. Read the Post-it reactions to your initial choice.
Somebody read this.
Take a couple of minutes,
Amongst ourselves.
read it over.
These out loud.
Seconds. I don't think we need that much time. Okay, at this time, select one person in your group. Did it get your attention? Okay, listen up, please, okay? In your groups, you're gonna need to select one person who's going to basically be your spokesperson. We're going to want to make some observations right now. So I'm gonna let group, I guess we'll start with this corner. If you guys can voice out your reactions, discussions, comments, feedback, observations, okay? We're gonna limit, hey, guys, we don't have much time, so we're gonna limit each comment to 30 seconds. When you hear the bubbles and see the bubbles, it means your time is up, okay? All right, okay, so you have 30 seconds, please spokesperson? Have you guys selected a spokesperson? When you have a spokesperson, you guys can lift your hand up, let me know. Who's your spokesperson?
Okay.
Everyone has a spokesperson? Over here, yep. You guys have a spokesperson over there? Yes, excellent. Okay, go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
तो हमें बी चूज कीधું છે કે બચ્ચાઓને authoritatively કહી રહ્યા છે કે મદ્રસા તો priority છે જ પણ we are opening the discussion so that બચ્ચાને એમ લાગે કે હા એનું કોઈ સુનવાવાળું છે એના ફિલિંગ્સને આપણે સપ્રેસ નથી કરી રહ્યા એના ફિલિંગ્સને પહેલાં સુની રહ્યા છે એના દિલમાં શું છે આપણે સુની રહ્યા છે આપણે સાથે સાથે એને ગાઈડ બી કરી રહ્યા છે કે આ પ્રાયોરિટી છે ને એને સાથે ઓપ્શન્સ ઓપન કરી શકીએ છીએ કે બીજા શું ઓપ્શન્સ ઓપન છે I'll give you just a real life example. મારા દીકરાને સોકરમાં એકદમ શોખ હતો Saturday સોકરની ગેમ્સ થતી હતી so then instead of school soccer I enrolled him in league soccer to any Sunday games થતી હતી so there are always options that are available but at the same time open up the conversation is the main point.
Okay, thank you. Actually, that was just at 30 seconds. Excellent. Okay, so section, any observations or feedback that your group had on the Post-its?
So most of the Post-its are actually saying that yeah this is correct, agree with us. शायद एक जन एम कह रहे हो no alternative days available because the games are on Saturday. Yes, school games are on Saturday, but we are just talking about alternatives so that we can do both. And एक जे मने एकदम ना समझ पड़ी, it says takes too much time to talk. So I think we have to take out the time to talk. That was the whole point.
Right. Okay, excellent. Group A, if we can have somebody summarize your guys' rationale for your selection and then feedback on the Post-it, you get a minute. Go. Who's got the mic? Who's got the mic? Who's got the mic?
See, Hamaru imhatu ke first of all, Saturday madrasa is a priority, right? And that's clear. And then if there's no option, if the game, see, we followed the exact story that was told to us, that Saturday in a game thas and there's no alternative, right? So if the kid's going to miss every single week of madrasa, that's just not even a choice and not something that we're willing to even enter into a discussion about, to not raise the child's hopes ke amaru kai theiya se ke molim mane kai they'll do something different for me. Because number one is, kabhi nahi thatu, right? There's never an option ke like Saturday tame miss karo ne tamaru potanu private Sunday madrasa hoy. And then the second thing is, none of our kids are becoming professional baseball players, let's be honest. And so Pelasi just lay down the groundwork that this is a priority, and anything beyond that, like on other days and things we could discuss. But on Saturday, madrasa is the priority.
And the feedback on the Post-its?
Well, people were quite mean, to be honest with you. So one of the comments was not becoming a janab, a muallim or a hafiz was one of the things that people said. So an example being that there is a hafiz. We wrote that this discussion is a losing battle, and somebody wrote, you're a losing battle.
Oh, that's not nice.
Come on, guys, so mean, so mean.
Okay, thank you, Group A. All right, Group C. Group C, you guys have 1 minute if you guys could share your rationale and your feedback that you received on the Post-its.
Thank you. So,
Hey guys, I'm gonna remind us that we are all practicing great listening skills by keeping our thoughts to ourselves right now and listening to our comments. Okay, thank you.
do I get time added for that?
Yes,
comment?
you do.
Okay,
You got
all right.
it. You got it.
All right, thank you guys. All right, so Apno was Group C, where we said we're gonna make this work, and ask Molim to accommodate so that the kid can play. And the rationale behind this is that we wanted to have a balanced approach to our kids' lives, understanding that a lot of times these things are only offered on Saturdays, so try to balance Deen and Dunya both. Another thing is that we did not want our kids to resent Deen, saying that they cannot participate in Dunya activities because Deen is getting in the way. Deen should be complementary, not against. Deen should be complementary to Dunya, not against dunya. And on top of that, we wanted to make sure that kids had opportunity to participate in physical sports and these kind of activities which are offered on Saturdays. So the approach here is that yes, the deen is very important, and we're going to accommodate by talking to the Muallim and try to figure out a way where they can actually participate in both, not just one.
Okay, and your feedback for your post-its.
Overall, we got good feedback. Some people disagreed that and said madrasa is important. And again, we're not saying that madrasa is not important. We want to balance it out with both. One person said that you will lose against your wife, which is a pretty good comment, because one of our comments was like we don't want to lose, we don't want to argue with our wives. So, and then the comment was we were going to lose against our wife. And then another one was about you are punting your problems to somebody else, not Muallimin's job to accommodate. Which was, all right, well, message received, but we can still work on that. We can talk about that. Right?
Okay. So, and now option D, Dikra, do whatever you like. You choose madrasa or baseball, it's your choice, both are fine.
Yeah, so we felt as a group very strongly about this because we wanted to empower our child to make the decisions for him or herself, and we wanted our child to love us. And then the last thing that we had was there's always, another day for madrasa, right? Wednesday. So.
Okay. So now I think what we want to do is make some observations about our.
So we
Sure.
we didn't get a chance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Post-its.
I'm so sorry. Talk about your post-its.
Yeah. So any specific ones? So just picking one or two off, randomly. One of our comments was, I want to be my child's best friend. Like we said, we want our child to like us and empower him or her. So someone says, really, dude? And then when we said, I want my child to be happy, someone says, oh, give them ice cream and they'll be happy. So those are some comments. And one said, bunch of wussies.
Okay. Okay, maybe not the most healthiest commentary there. Okay, so at this time, the point of this exercise is for you guys to understand that there are different perspectives out there, and that no one, oops, did I miss it? Yes, there we go. Okay, so no one parenting style, is the absolute correct, depending on what the circumstance is or depending on what position we are in, would constitute what our reactions are. Sometimes based on the fact that, maybe there is no other alternative and madrasa is the priority and that's it, and maybe you live in an area that's the only place, that you can get your dini talim and tarbiyat, right? And on the other hand, maybe there are other options like a Wednesday madrasa or something other such things. But anyway, each situation with your child will be different, right? And then we were gonna, Alefiyah, did you want to talk about the different observations you had of the group selections?
I got to walk around and listen to the things that you were talking about. I'd like to point out group C over here. If you look at the major gender of group C in terms of the style that they chose and sort of being best friends with your kid and really listening to them, that's just like one observation that I had. And the other thing I will say is that even though you chose certain groups, there was still talk amongst you about what you felt was right or wrong. So each of us sort of come into this with our own experiences, our own opinions. Most of us are in a relationship with another person. I butt heads with my husband all the time, right, about how to parent, and we're often parenting in different styles. If you didn't notice, that was my kid and my dilemma, right? It said Malbari on there. And the point that Rashida bin is trying to make is that you're not coming out of this being like, B is the right. It's not like that. It's not about what's the right answer. It's about how did you come to that decision.
Exactly.
And it's about communication.
Right, exactly. And so the purpose of this exercise, this simulation, was for you guys to get a chance of what it would be like to be part of one of the modules in the curriculum that we were planning on implementing and piloting. And so without further ado, I am going to put this QR code up. please, if you are interested in joining the curriculum team, and I'm going to hand it off. Are you? No? Okay. So please join the curriculum team. Help us by, if you'd like to participate and help us put this thing together and make it a successful program for our community, please scan the QR code and fill out the contact information. If anybody else has any other feedback or want to make any comments or questions, yes, if you guys want to take your seats and ask questions, you're welcome to do so. I'm not going to be the only one to answer them, that's for sure. So if anybody has any comments, feedback, we'd love to hear them. Should we bring the mic down, or please just, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. This is excellent. I think it's very effective kind of way to get everybody involved. I think that's what the whole point is. My question, I guess, is how to, this multi-directional approach where it's not just parenting with the kids, but also being on the same page with your partner. I think that was kind of alluded to. And so will this extend to, okay, it will, all right, good.
Yeah,
because if I'm over here, my wife is over there.
That's exactly
real
what
challenge.
the purpose behind this was, just to kind of get you guys a snapshot of what it's like to be in that simulation. Clearly, if the module is between 2 to 3 hours, we would really get into a deeper dive and really get into it and flesh it out and have that conversation between partners and such as well, depending on which moderator you had.
I'll also add to say that the major foundation of the curriculum is communication. And so that includes communication with your kid, but also with all the other people who are involved in parenting your kid. So your spouse, your parents, all of these other people. And so how do you communicate to get on the same page?
Like the saying that there is, right? It takes a village to raise a child, and it really is a village. We are the village, and it's up to us to really kind of figure out how we're gonna.
Because this is like learning a different language, really. I mean, communication, obviously you're talking, but the style and kind of incorporating is like learning a different language. So when you learn a new way to speak, you need to practice, and so it seems like a very effective way to do it. So it's great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I thought this was excellent. I want to start with that.
Oh, okay.
Shukriya for doing this. To echo Dr. Murali's point, I guess I was going to say basically the same thing. And I'm trying to relate this personally. So, and I think this may apply to some people in the room. I am a ABCD, right? I had no madrasa, no formal training whatsoever. Madrasa no tuitan na persukari, right? Mami kan kechata, right? That's how I learned, because there's no madrasa. And I'm highly thankful for that, first and foremost. My wife is not an ABCD, and she can't chime in because she's not here. But we have truly different experiences, right? My Saturdays were playing soccer. Because this was I really love the example, and I get the point, it's communication, but yeah, I guess we both had to adjust because both had such different experiences. She had madrasa all her life. She had Wednesday, she had everyday madrasa basically. Betran kalak no hoiche, and then Saturday was shorter. It's unique over here for obvious reasons. And for the people in B, I totally get it. I mean, we're all sitting here in C. We all know we're going to lose the battle against our wives. That's first and foremost. We already know that, and it is a priority. But I wanted to say I really I walked in a little late, but this has been excellent. So thank you.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a great session. Thank you so much. I was wondering, is it going to be tailored to have both parents present? Is that the goal? And what if only one parent comes consistently? Because I could see how, like, when you go back home and you're trying to kind of implement maybe what you took away from the session and your partner wasn't present. So how do we kind of handle that?
I think, Alefiyah, if you want me to, I'm going to say a few things, and definitely if you want to add. I was just going to say that I think the process behind doing this pilot curriculum is to just really decide how the groupings are going to be, because I'm pretty sure there are going to be times when we're going to want both parents present, and if both parents present can't be present, then, it might be that maybe you come when you can be present. And then the other option is also, if both parents are in different sessions, then perhaps you may feel more free to want to really vocalize your opinions. And sometimes that might be it just depends on what the thing is. So I'm sure there's going to be a variety of different mixtures within each of the modules.
Both parents there, and then have other sessions where it's just the mom or just the dad, to kind of give space for those discussions that
Right.
we can all relate to. So I think that would be neat to kind of have those separate type
Right.
of sessions too. But thank you, this has been so great.
I'll just add to say thanks for that feedback. We, for the pilot curriculum, obviously we're going to start small and only in a certain number of jamaats, and that will be invitation. But our hope is that this will actually become a required part. So just like your child is required to attend madrasa, you as the parent will be required to attend. Parents, the parental unit, both mom and dad.
Any other feedback, comments?
મને આમાં કહેવું હતું કે પેરેન્ટિંગ સ્ટાઇલ જ આપણી દીન જ આપણો બેસ હોય બરાબર એનાથી જ આપણે શીખશું અને એ બચ્ચાને એવી રીતે જ આપણે મોટા કરશું એવી રીતે જ આપણું કમ્યુનિકેશન હશે તરબિયત હશે કે દીન એના વાસ્તે એટલું વજન નથી મુશ્કેલ ના હોય એમ નથી કે મને દીન અને દુનિયા બેલેન્સ કરું આપણું દીન જ એને બેલેન્સ જ કરે છે દુનિયાને એમ શું કેમ કે મેં આ બી કરું મદ્રસા પ્રાયોરિટી જ છે પણ એવી શાકેલતથી મોલાને દુઆથી બી આપણે એવી રીતે સમજાવી શકીએ ફરજંદોને કે એના ગલે ઉતરી જાય જે મોલા ફરમાવે એમ ચૂઝ કરવાનું બરાબર છે ને ઝહેનમાં ઘણા શોખ હોય બધું હોય પણ એવી તરહ સમજાવશું એવી તરહ વાત કરશું એમ કોશિશ આપણે કરશું કે ફરજંદોને હંમેશા એ જ પ્રાયોરિટી જોવાય એને પ્રાયોરિટી જે જોવાય એને બેલેન્સની વાત નથી દીન બેલેન્સ જ કરે છે દીન દુનિયામાં આગળ જ લાવે છે એ જે વેલ્યુઝ છે ને એ ઇન્સ્ટિલ કરવાના છે દીનને મેં દુનિયાને બેલેન્સ કરું આ જે સ્ટેટમેન્ટ છે ને મને પર્સનલી એકદમ થોડો ડિફરન્ટ મને આઈ ડોન્ટ અગ્રી વિથ દેટ બિકોઝ મેં એમ ફીલ કરું છું કે મારું દીન મને દુનિયામાં આગળ જ લાવશે મને પાછળ નહીં લાવે કોઈ વાર મારા ઝહેનથી મેં એમ સોચ્યું બી કે આ ચીજ મને પાછળ રાખી રહ્યું દુનિયામાં પણ ના મને મારા મોલા અને મારું દીન મને દુનિયામાં આગળ જ લાવશે that's the values that I want to instill in my children.
Right, and I think the
અને એ જ મારો ચોઇસ હોય એ મારો અને મારા ફરજંદોનો ચોઇસ જ એ હોય that's how I want to bring up my children કે મારા મોલા અને મારું દીન એ હંમેશા મારા વાસ્તે it's a well wisher it's always going to progress me in my life it's always going to bring me success ભલે મને મુશ્કેલી આવશે દુનિયા કે ઇઝી નથી બરાબર it will help me face all the challenges and I'm going to come up.
Right, and I think the main importance there is the self-actualization, right? कि the बच्चा ने खबर पड़े खुद he makes that decision through the conversation that he has with the parent. So, any other comments, questions?
Can I just say sab apna point gano
Yeah, absolutely
છે અને the issue always comes up that you have this that kids do go through this conflict અને એ લોકોને સમજાવવા વાસ્તે that's the most important piece ને જેમ આપ ફરમાવો છો that is the right point. How do we communicate that with our kids and how do we bring them to that understanding in the right way and so that's where these parenting styles come in. Sometimes you have to be strong with your kids and say this is the only way it's going to be. And sometimes you have to help them make the decision on their own, and sometimes you have to help to come to a certain conclusion. So that all these different parenting styles come into play in order for them to understand the point that you're making.
Yes, exactly.
જે બધાએ કીધું ને કે ફાધર્સ એન્ડ મધર્સના પેરેન્ટિંગ સ્ટાઇલ જુદા હોય છે તો ઘણીવાર ઇટ કોમ્પ્લિમેન્ટ્સ કોઈ થોડું ઇઝી ગોઈંગ હોય છે ને થોડુંક એમ અક્સર થતું હોય છે આઈ થિંક ફેમિલીઝમાં પણ એમ નથી કે દીનના અંદર લેટ ગો કરવાનું તમે ઇઝી ગોઈંગ હમણાં મારું ને ભાઈ સાહેબ અમ્મા શેર કરો ભાઈ સાહેબ ઇઝ ધ ઇટને ઇઝી વાળા ને મેં આમ ધ સ્ટ્રિક્ટ વન સો પણ એમ નથી કે દીનના અંદર easy let it go એમ નહીં બરાબર ઓવરઓલ તમે easy તમારું પેરેન્ટિંગ સ્ટાઇલ હોય કોઈનું ડિસિપ્લિન થોડું વધારે હોય પણ નોટ સેક્રિફાઇસિંગ આપના વેલ્યુઝ ને આપના દીન તો એ પેરેન્ટિંગ એટલે સમજ્યા દીન એના અંદર વચમાં નહીં આવી જાતું તમે યુ કેન બી ધ બેસ્ટ પેરેન્ટ્સ પણ you can be strict in your dean એમ નથી કે તમે દીનને લેટ ગો કરીને તમે ઘણા અચ્છા પેરેન્ટિંગ કરી શકો છો મારી ખાલી આ વાત એમ છે તો એ માં સેક્રિફાઇસની વાત નહીં આવતું વી કેન કીપ our values we can keep our dean પણ you can have a very nice way of bringing up your children જે મોલા હંમેશા આપને બતાવે જ છે અને બીજું કે એમ કીધું કે it takes a village that is very true કેમ કે પેરેન્ટ્સ હોય એના સાથે એના બધા બીજા બધા મદ્રસા બી એવું આપણે ક્રિએટ કરીએ કે વहाँ બી એવી ટીચિંગ સ્ટાઇલ્સ એવી હોય વી ટ્રાય ટુ ક્રિએટ દેટ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ એ હાર્ડ હોય છે પણ ઇટ્સ નોટ જસ્ટ ધ હોમ ઇટ્સ ધ મદ્રસા ઇટ્સ ધ મજલિસ જેમાં બચ્ચાઓ આવે છે ઇટ્સ બધી જગા પર આ સેમ ટાઈપના વેલ્યુઝ હોય અને સેમ ટાઈપનું ઓપન માઇન્ડેડનેસ હોય બચ્ચાઓને એક્સેપ્ટિંગ હોય તો એ બચ્ચું ફ્લરિશ થશે ઇન્શાલ્લાહ
I just want to really echo something that is, these are really kind of universal problems, right? I'm obviously not part of the Bora community, but these problems exist in all aspects of our, we have very shared values. We come from a very, same region of the world. And when this doesn't happen, this dialogue, there's this culture of silence that builds that's very toxic, where kids are just like, not talking about these things or we're ignoring it. Especially this was about sports, which is a pretty benign topic. You could have chosen so many other controversial things about dating and stuff like that. And so when social media or whatever. And so growing up here, there's this culture of silence where you talk to your friends about all these things, you don't talk to your parents. It's like you're living this double life. And there's nothing healthy about that. We've all seen where that goes, and the dangers that come from that. All these things we're talking about, obesity, depression, a lot of them are symptoms of this kind of lack of openness and an inability to really feel validated or heard. So it's very important work. I'm very impressed by this. I think it's a universal thing. I would love to continue to be a part of wherever you take this. I'd love to see how we can bring it to our community. It's amazing, amazing stuff.
એક તો એકદમ પહેલાં આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ અપ્લોડ યુ ગાઈઝ કે એકદમ જ કમાલનું આ પેરેન્ટ્સ કરિક્યુલમ સોચ્યું છે એના બારામાં અને ઇન્શાલ્લાહ આપણે કરીએ પણ આઈ થિંક કે આનું સક્સેસ તિવારે થશે આપણે પેરેન્ટ્સ કરિક્યુલમ કરીએ પણ સાથે બચ્ચાઓનું બી કાઉન્સેલિંગ બી આના સાથે હોય કેમ કે સ્કૂલમાં એ લોકોને કોપિંગ સ્કિલ્સ ને બધું શીખાવે છે બટ દેટ ઇઝ અમેરિકન કલ્ચરનું કોપિંગ સ્કિલ્સ શીખાવે છે अपने जीवारे पेरेंट करिक्युलम बनावीए जीवारे बच्चाओं भी अपने एवी रीत से ए लोगों ने लाइफ कोचिंग स्किल्स सिखावीए कि जे अपना कल्चरना हिसाब से होय खाली इक्वालिटी ने ए बधुं ना होय तो एना से दे विल बी मोर रिसेप्टिव टू these kind of parenting curriculums.
Do we have time for one more comment? So in the example that you presented, which was great, question B seemed to be the right answer. And I knew that was the right answer. And I would have loved to be a parent that would have picked that answer. But in reality, I'm a parent that would have automatically picked answer A. And there are many reasons for that. And one of the reasons is my own challenge, that when I say let's talk about it, I feel, how am I going to explain this to my child? So I hope this curriculum helps parents talk about Jim Mola Farmave che gale utri jai, but I don't know how. Ke aa vaat evi che ke it's not just with soccer. When your kids grow up, when my daughter grows up, ke school ma rida peno. How are we going to talk about this? There's going to be so many things. I mean, Ashara ma'aho, miss your school, your exam, So there's so many levels to this, and it all is on how are we going to talk about it. So we automatically pick some things there's just no talking about. I mean, let's talk about something else, whether you want to do soccer or basketball, you know. So I think it's our weakness as well. And also, we're a changing era. When I was a child, when I was a teenager, my deen or perspective of deen was different. It was balancing deen and dunya. Now, as I've learned more and have advanced more and grown more as a person, I realize that my deen balances dunya. So I think, so that's another challenge, that I'm not grown up just doing it. And so just wanted to mention that as well.
Thank you for that comment, and that's exactly what this curriculum is. What we're doing here is how the curriculum will run in smaller groups. So we want you to have this discussion. We want you to tell us, this is really difficult. And if we had more time, what we would have done today is we would have had each of you role play in these groups. Okay, well now you're your son, and you're the parent. Let's see, how is this conversation gonna go? Let's do it, right? So that's sort of how the curriculum will roll. And then just to comment on the term balance, we have actually been very careful not to use that terminology, not to use the terminology balance between deen and dunya, because I think all of us know it doesn't exist. You can, you know, whether it be deen and dunya, whether it be work-life, who has work-life balance? Nobody, right? How do you incorporate everything? And for us, how do we make sure our deen is the most important? And how do we instill that to our children?
We're going to take one more question, then we're going to cut it off.
I just have a quick comment to echo what was said before, that this was a very, very helpful exercise. I have two very young daughters, a 3.5 and a 4-month-old, and I can see that these are going to be future problems, not necessarily right now. And so one thing I just wanted to comment is that to involve parents who have very young children, so that not to have this as a retroactive or retrospective type of exercise, but to prepare parents for the future.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. One of the things that we want, why are we presenting this to you guys as physicians of our communities? We want you guys to also understand that you will be, as Alefiyah bin Malbari had already mentioned, people are already coming to you guys, right? People are already approaching, mara dikra na sate am, mara dikri na sate am, me su karo, mane samajh mein nathi avi rahi. These are some of the techniques we want you to start explaining to them, is communication. We're not asking you to sacrifice deen. We're asking you to communicate with them, help them understand. And so you need to listen to them for them to listen to you. And I think people forget that. Remember that phrase, connect before you correct? So always connect. That's the point.
So we're going to close this session. There may be other questions. I just want to point out that the QR code that was up on the screen, just because you may not be a pediatrician or a psychologist, we do look to our group here as leaders in health in general and mental health. And so if you're interested in this topic, please do scan the QR code and voice your desire to participate. We are trying to set up a short group gathering of all the people who are interested to just have a huddle sometime tomorrow, so that we can just kind of get a plan of action together so that we can take some steps forward as we leave here. So everyone is definitely requested to fill out the QR code, except for the orthopedic surgeons. We don't want any of you. Everyone else is good.